Good morning, class. Are you feeling well today? Very good. I am Daisy May B. Besanyes from BEd 1B, your reporter for today. And I am going to discuss about the life cycles of human from fertilization to death, which are the stages of development. But before that, I have a song here and I want everyone to sing it.
SCIE, NCE, Science Song. SCIE, SCIE, NCE, NCE. Science is a subject, interesting subject. Let us know, let us grow.
Wow, I guess you are now ready to listen to our discussions for today. And now, I have an activity presented here. What are the life stages of development? So, I believe that you already have an idea about these life stages of human development because our proof ed instructors already discussed about this. Am I right? Yes. Now, I expect that you can follow my discussions. So, fertilization or conception begins with the union of egg cell and sperm cell. Fertilization of human egg cell takes place in the fallopian tube. So, the fertilization is the initial step in the human development occurring when a sperm cell penetrates and fertilizes an egg cells. So, this process happens in the fallopian tube of the female reproductive systems. So, we already know where fallopian tube located, right? As we discussed the previous lessons before. During the sexual intercourse, sperms are ejaculated into the female reproductive tract and travel through the cervix and into the uterus. From there, they make their way into the fallopian tube and to meet the awaiting egg, of course. So, once the sperm fertilizes an egg successfully, the next process is the formation of zygote. So, the zygote contains the combination of the genetic materials from both parents, creating a single cell and embryo called the zygote. So, here is the zygote. So, the zygote undergoes a rapid cell division, forming a cluster of cells known as a blastocyst. Do you have an idea what is a blastocyst? Okay, ang blastocyst, sidya ang pinaka-early stage in the development of an embryo. So, mo-continue sidya og divide and more into a blastocyst into 16 cells approximately 5 to 6 days after a fertilization. It is smaller than a tip of a ballpoint pen. 20% to 30% only ang maka-fertilize eggs nga makaadto sa blastocyst stage. Embryos that survive this stage of development have a high implantation potential once transferred into the uterine cavity. So, ang blastocyst hatches out of its shell and attach it to the uterine wall in the endometrium, which is nga ang endometrium, as you remember what Ma'am Lag said, nga makaserve siya as the source of oxygen and nutrients. So, the following implantation of the blastocyst, ang sunod nga may tabo, is mo-continue gyapon siya sa embryonic development. Then, during the blastocyst stage, the inner cells forming the embryo itself and the outer cells contributing to the placenta which nourishes and supports the developing embryo throughout the pregnancy. Then, during the embryo stage, all the major body systems begin to form. Class, I'd like everyone to follow along as I read aloud. The umbilical cord is a rope-like structure through which materials can pass between the embryo and the mother. The embryo is surrounded by a clear membrane called the amnion. The amnion forms a sac containing a fluid that cushions the embryo. During the embryo stage, all the major body systems begin to form. As you can see here, the umbilical cord and the placenta. Now, let's discuss the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is to deliver oxygen and nutrients from the mother to the fetus via the placenta, as well as to remove waste products from the fetus circulation. Moving on to the placenta, which serves as a vital organ that provides oxygen and nutrients to the developing fetus while also removing waste products from the fetus blood. That's why the umbilical cord and placenta are very important because they facilitate the exchange of nutrients, oxygen, and waste between the mother and the developing fetus during the pregnancy.
So, we are now on the second stage of human growth and development, which is the birth, the release of the baby from the womb or the uterus to the outside world. So, the birth begins when the muscles of the mother's uterus begin to contract. These contractions of the muscles of the uterus are called labor. In the first trimester, from weeks 1 to 12, major organs and body systems begin to form, such as the heartbeat, brain, limbs, and digestive system. The heartbeat can be detected through ultrasound. In the second trimester, from weeks 13 to 26, the organs continue to develop and the fetus becomes more active, moving and kicking. Also, ang mga facial features sa baby and its fetal sex can be determined, of course, through the ultrasound. And then, in the third trimester, weeks 27 to birth, the organ systems is now mature in preparation for life outside the womb. So, throughout the entire fetal development process, ang fetus mag-rely ragayud sa placenta and umbilical cord kay didto man ang agianan sa pag-provide og oxygen, nutrients ug ang pag-eliminate sa waste. So, here is now the period of labor that divided into 3 stages. Let us read. The first stage of labor usually lasts about 10 to 12 hours. During this time, contractions push the baby towards the cervix. So, it is obvious. So, in the first stage, there are contractions nga ma-feel sa mother. And then, ang cervix kay mo start no to open up. And then, in the second stage of labor, the baby emerges. At this point, contractions of the uterus becomes more and stronger. Mag-last longer. Diba? So, in the second stage of labor di ay, mas masakit paghapon ang ma-feel sa mother. More contractions pa siya og dugay yun si Jamawa. Kay in the second stage of labor, diri na ang baby mugawas, maborn. And then, in the third stage of labor, occurs shortly after the baby is born. So, even though nakagawas na ang baby, more contractions gihapon ang ma-feel sa mother. O kani, mag-end ni siya after mugawas ng placenta. Dapat na to siya mugawas para maka-avoid sa complications. So, we are now in the third stage of human growth and development, which is the infancy or the babyhood. So, we already know what is infancy or babyhood, right? So, mauna siya after the birth. So, the human undergoes different stages of physical growth and development. So, ang infancy o ang babyhood stage is the stage from birth to 10 years of age. Ang infancy and the babyhood are the early stages of life when the babies grows fast and discover the world around them. So, in this stage, they learn to move, talk, and form bonds with the people surrounds them. And then, during this time, babies needs love, care, and attention to thrive and develop into healthy and happy individuals. So, in the infancy and the babyhood, need gid kayo ang care sa ato ang parents, even just not the parents, o sa tanan nga nakapalibot sa baby. In the early childhood, from 2 to 6 years of age. So, during sa early childhood, ang kids mag-grow ni siya quickly ug makamao na mustorya and to make friends. So, they start nga maka-understand na siya og numbers and shapes while becoming more independent. In the later childhood, nga mag-edad og 6 to 12 years, so ang kids keep growing and then maka-start ni siya og adto sa school para dito siya mas maka-learn o maka-enhance pa ang iyang skills and the abilities and also to make more friends and then become more independent and learn to know how to solve problems and handle their feelings. In the adolescence nga mag-edad sa 13 to 19 years of age, it is the time between the childhood and the adulthood when ang teenagers kay maka-experience og mga significant changes in their bodies, minds, and emotions, di ba? Miagi tani og nabilong bataan nga time. So, teenagers go through a lot of changes in adolescence. So, kita, both physically and emotionally. So, we start to figure out kanang what they want in life. So, in our stage, makaibaw na tawag unsa gyud ang atong gusto, maka-decide na punta o mag-vote na ta, right? So, adolescents may feel of excitement and uncertainty, as I said nga, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So, diri nga stage, mas mo independent pa ka og duro o kinahanglan og understanding, but of course kinahanglan gyapon ng guidance sa ato ang parents. So, in the early adulthood nga mag-edad from 19 to 40 years old, it is the time between being a teenager and becoming a full adult. Like usually nga diri nga time maka-complete siya sa education ug maka-establish og mga careers ug maka-begin nga makapuyo ka og imong kaugalingon. Then of course diri sa adulthood maka-form na ni siya og kanang long-term relationships, maka-start na ni siya og families, get married. If you work hard, then your financial will be stable, and then yeah, of course, it is the life that you will face in the early adulthood as your age becomes more grower. We are now in the middle age, the 40 to 65 years old. So, around 40 to 65 years old is the transition of the physical and adjustment. So, ang mga middle age, yung individuals can experience some changes to their body. So, ang iyang mga muscle mass, ang mga metabolism, ug mga hormone levels, magka-utro, magka-slow, magkahinay na. It's because of the age. So, also, they may also reflect on their goals and relationships. So, focusing more on the career advancement. And also, naana ni sila financial planning. And, mas ganahan na ni sila mag-spend more time in the family. So, in the old age, so from 65 years and beyond. So, the old stage is the stage of life that continues until the end of life. So, 65 to death na ni siya kay, di ba, kita mamatay man gyud ta. So, in this stage, unlike sa middle age and then sa old age, ang old age, mas daghan na og ipamati sa lawas. Mas, murag, diri nga time, maka-feel na ni siya og depression or it can be anxiety, loneliness, but dili na dapat nato sila paunahunahon nga na, right? Because they are our grandfather and grandmother. So, dapat ato silang i-care, i-love, and i-guide sa ilahang mga pangkinahanglan. In the old stage, diri nga time, mas ganahan na ni sila maka-spend more time in the family, na ni sila sa balay para mag-care sa ilang mga granddaughter and grandson, right? So, we are now in the last stage of human development, which is the death. So, hadlo kayo tang mamatay, guys, di ba? So, for example, think of a car engine. Kung ang car engine walay gasolina, what will happen? Yes, of course, dili na si jamo under. So, how about in our human body? Like, kung dili na mag-function ng iyang mga organ, mo-stop na og iyang mga heartbeat, what will happen? Well, of course, dili na makabarog. Dili na nga time nga, dili na siya maka-sustain of life. So, just like what the engine nga makahatag siya og life sa car na makadagan. So, in our human body, if the organs in our body stop functioning and then the heartbeat, it can anymore sustain life. It's because mga gipamati sa lawas, like nga naka-encounter ka og mga diseases, mga illnesses, well, you have to accept the fact that it is your time to rest in the world. So guys, do you learn something today? Okay, so I hope you learned something today because I learned very well as I report this discussion from you class. So, I have a questions. What do you want in life ba? Unsa man imong ganahan? Unsa man imong ganahan ma-achieve in life? Because ang life dili na ni siya pang lifetime na moabot gid ta nga muhawa na gid ta sa world. So dapat atong i-enjoy ang unsa naa nato karon. Okay. So in becoming like in the stage of old age, di ba? Mas manabdili magyud nato malikayan bisag unsa atong i-take ng mga vitamins, maabot jud ang time nga mamatay ta. So guys, I hope you learned something today and always care your health. We have to accept the fact nga naay uban or naay mga people nga dili maka-reach sa middle age or old age. Like for example, nga we know that, di ba? Natay mga may bawan nga na-end na ilang life bata pa, sayo pa, or even though nga after nga maborn ka, it's because there are some complications nga mahitabo. But even though we are still grateful nga nakaabot ta sa adulthood and we have to thank God for that. So now, thank you class. I hope you learned something today. And I am Daisy May B. Basanias, your reporter for today. Thank you.